Now, let's dive deep into this big LGBTQ story for today. I'm Gil Ponce, and let's queer up politics. Federal prosecutors want George Santos to serve 7 years in prison. The Justice Department is seeking a judge to sentence the disgraced former Congressman George Santos to 7 years behind bars after he pleaded guilty to wire fraud and aggravated identity theft this year. His lawyers have asked for a lighter 2-year sentence ahead of his official sentencing on April 25th. Santos, once hailed as a rare openly gay Republican in Congress, has spectacularly fallen from grace. He was expelled from Congress in 2023 after a damning House Ethics Committee report accused him of using campaign funds for personal luxuries, including OnlyFans subscriptions, designer goods, and Botox. He also admitted about lying on his education and work history, and even falsely claiming connections to the Pulse nightclub shooting and 9/11. The DOJ wrote, in quote, "From his creation of a wholly fictitious biography to his callous theft of money from elderly and impaired donors, Santos's unrestrained greed and voracious appetite for fame enabled him to exploit the very system by which we select our representatives. Despite once co-sponsoring anti-LGBTQ legislation and attacking queer families, Santos now seeks leniency. His lawyers argue that his crimes were nonviolent and that he cooperated in a separate investigation. He has since taken a cameo for income and briefly flirted with a return to politics as an independent, but backing out.
Where do we start?
As a former elected official, one, the spending campaign money on OnlyFans, if you're going to do something corrupt, do something a little bit, more extravagant than, spending on OnlyFans subscriptions. Like, quite frankly, it's one of those things, obviously, we can all agree. A fraud is a fraud is a fraud. He deserves some form of jail time. But at the same point, looking at the history of political corruption in this country, this is the first time I ever thought I'd ever hear the words campaign money and OnlyFans ever come out in the same sentence.
But this isn't about just being lenient and justifying what he did. I did a little research into pensions. Mm-hmm. If he gets sentenced 5 years or more, he loses his government pension. And this is a man that's driven by money and quote unquote success and all the things that success supposedly bring him. He's desperate to keep that governmental pension because it's substantial coming out of the U.S. taxpayers' pockets.
Well, what he's done, forget that, he's LGBTQ allegedly, like who knows for sure.
Which one is he?
I'm not sure which, pick an initial and a day, and I'm sure there's a bio that talks about it. But it's a bigger story in that, like, look what he convinced how many people in New York. It's sort of like Trump. How many people believed him, and he gets elected to a very high position in our government, basically let amok to continue these lies. And when he finally is taken down, he should get some kind of jail time for it. And I don't really care about his pension because, to be honest, if it was anybody else, if you took out the LGBTQ portion of this, it's still a horrific story of what he did to the American people and the fraud that he's guilty of. So, it's none of us will claim him as one of our LGBTQ allies. Yeah.
He's one of the fraudsters of fraudsters. He's one of the absolute biggest frauds that have ever hit government or even hit our airwaves.
Oh, well, they're bigger right now.
No, not. Oh, yeah, I'll agree with you there. But he has, in every single category, he lied. He went through life being nothing but a fraud and a liar and a thief and a con artist. And 7 years to me, they say they want to make examples of people. You watch that in government. Oh, we're going to get this guy and make an example. Yeah. This is the guy you make an example of. He frauded the government. He frauded the people. He got elected. He should have never been in there in the first place. And I think putting him away from 25 years in a prison with all men, well, maybe he'd like that. No, well, never mind. That's where he belongs.
Well, I can only say that there is no justice when, I do hope he gets some jail time, but Matt Gaetz still gets to walk around, and again, has not been tried for crimes that are very evidently he committed and would have been tried for, and which include sexual assault and sexual trafficking, trafficking of women.
Well, we don't have to compare though necessarily.
Well, but I'm saying
they're mutually autonomous.
Is that if you go through just in the last few years, the biggest scandals that have happened in the Republican Party, and yet we have an innocent LGBTQ member of our community sitting in a Nicaraguan jail for without any kind of due process. So we have to just put things in perspective of what's happening in this country. I mean, we all can say that George Santos is the scum of the political world, and he's persona non grata in the LGBTQ community. But he's another distraction about real problems that are happening. And yes, I think he should go to jail, and I think he should pay his time. But really, I just think he should just go away.
Right. He doesn't deserve the airtime we're giving him.
He doesn't deserve the airtime, but he also doesn't deserve a light sentence. And that 5 years is going to hurt him to the day he dies. So give him 7 years, and let's just go move on.
Yeah. I mean, the other option is we could throw him and all of, these Republicans that get thrown out of office onto maybe a Naked and Afraid season, and just let them go at it on an island somewhere and see how that works out.
They'd just cry.
And yet,
well, that is a big LGBTQ story for today. There is no other queer and nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by subscribing and sharing Queer News Tonight.